All right, number 8 on my list is a movie entitled The Northman, which, yes, I bought the physical copy. I still buy physical media every now and then. I don't know. I think it's fun. I really enjoyed The Northman. I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. It's, again, one of those, like, I'm enjoying these movies now because I don't know how long we're going to get them kind of things. I don't know. It feels like this is the last Robert Eggers movie where he's going to get this much money to make a movie. But you know what? I enjoyed that we got to see it, and it was a blast to me to watch. So the movie itself is, I guess, so I'm not a big, Nordic history buff or anything like this. I guess from what I understand, it's about a guy, Amleth, who was, I guess Hamlet was based on this myth, which is sort of, it's a revenge movie, and I think the criticism, probably the biggest criticism I have, really the only criticism I have with this movie, is that it's kind of just sort of a basic revenge movie. Like, there isn't a ton of, I guess it doesn't fully get you to maybe care about the character as much as you would like. Maybe that's the thing, but that's also not what it's going for. It's kind of trying to be one of these myths that you would see back then, or I guess hear about back then. And I think in that scenario, I think it worked as it kind of displayed that very well. So to me, it accomplished what it was trying to accomplish, even if that, can be a little bit, feels a bit paint by numbers now, but it certainly wasn't in the way that it was told. And that's kind of the thing too, is while the story itself is a very basic one, the plot is very basic, the way it was told is very much not so. For one thing, just the aesthetics of this movie, I mean, again, a big budget movie, or at least a relatively big budget movie, and the money is on the screen. I mean, this is one of the more beautiful movies you'll see. It's funny, you see those like $200 million action movies that basically, to me, look nowhere near what this looks like, because they actually go to a location and shoot this stuff. And, when you see a bunch of extras in the background, there's actual people in the background walking around, which is just, they put the time and effort to make it look as good as they can, and it really works. I mean, this is one where, to describe it, it can be a tough watch if you're not if you're someone who doesn't like sort of this aggressive stuff, if you don't like a ton of violence and stuff, not gonna be for you. This is definitely a violent movie. This is definitely a hardcore movie at times, but that's part of the fun of it. Again, it's Robert Eggers. It's the guy who made The Witch and The Lighthouse. This is what he does. This is his thing. Obviously, if you have not seen his other movies, what he does is he also likes to, all the dialect and stuff tends to be of its time. It's very, from what I understand from like history buffs, this is very much like as accurate as you'll see, which is kind of cool to see. And then obviously it's an intense movie on top of it, where some of the action sequences are as cool action sequences as you will see. Some of the, the visuals are fantastic. And I don't know, it's just a really unique movie. And I'm just so glad that it exists. I have some things that I don't know how much worked for me, but not a lot. To be honest, this is a movie that really worked for me in a big way. So I'll get into spoilers, I suppose. But first, I'm going to give my rating. My rating, 4.5 out of 5 stars here, as I really enjoyed this movie. So definitely, if you really enjoyed this movie, or if you think you would enjoy this movie, check it out. If this seems like it's your thing, definitely do that, and let's get into spoilers. Okay, spoilers time. 3, 2, 1. Nicole Kidman, that was weird, right? Why is she kissing her son? Very interesting stuff throughout. Again, it's Robert Eggers. This is what you're in for here. I thought that scene was very unique. I think that her character in general was very fascinating. And one of the things I loved about this movie that I couldn't really get into pre-spoilers because I didn't feel like it would work is that basically every character is awful in this movie. Like, you think about it from any different perspective, and you could be like, well, yeah, the guy who he's trying to kill throughout this movie is kind of like the hero of this movie, except for the fact that he owns slaves, so then he's not a hero. So like everyone sucks in a way, and from Alexander Skarsgård's character's perspective, like what he's trying to do makes sense, but then sort of the twist on it of like there's no point in revenge here. Like, it basically just straight up says revenge is stupid, and what he's trying to do is stupid, but he's still going to try and do it. And I think that's the unique thing about it. Obviously, there's all the mythical stuff going on, and that's very fascinating as well. Again, it ends with 2 naked guys fighting on a volcano. I mean, what more can you ask for out of a movie than this? It's just such a such a unique thing. To me, I felt like watching this movie a lot of times. Like Robert Eggers, like knows this is the only time he's going to get a chance to make a movie like this, so he just completely went for it. Apparently, there were some fights with the studio. I think the studio wanted more of a toned down version of the movie, whereas Eggers obviously pushing it as far as possible. He's very much not a studio director type thing. Like that's not really his thing. But I did think that this is something that it worked for me. The whatever they were trying to do, even with the kind of pulled it back a little bit, I would have loved to see them go further. I would have loved to see if there's a director's cut somewhere where there's even more stuff. I'd like to check that out. I think that would be more interesting to me, not less. But I also understand. I don't know. I kind of feel like sometimes these movies they do themselves a disservice by marketing it to try and seem like it's just some traditional action movie, and whereas I think sometimes you'd be better off sort of showing people like, no, this is going to be weird, this is going to be violent, that's what we're doing here. Well, yes, I think you would turn some people off from going. I think you would also get more people to want to go see the movie because they like that stuff. There is a market for this stuff, and I think some people that like this kind of movie are watching this review now and saying like, oh, I had no idea that this movie even existed. Like, that seems super cool. I want to check it out now. Like, that's, I think it's a great movie. Really hope more people get to see it. I hope more movies like this get made. Definitely very fun. Number 8 on my list. What did you think about it? Did you see The Northman? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.